Welcome back to the return of Real Men and Women, the podcast where we dive deep into the uncharted territories of human potential, forgotten histories, and bold frontiers that redefine what it means to be truly alive in this wild universe. Your host, Martin Furco, is taking you on an extraordinary journey, blending cosmic wonder and underwater enigma. We're thrilled to bring you an exclusive interview with two trailblazers, Dr. Beatriz Villarroel, a brilliant astronomer at the Nordic Institute for Theoretical Physics in Stockholm, leading the VASCO project to scour century-old star maps for vanishing lights, potentially black holes, cosmic events, or extraterrestrial signals, and the Exoprobe initiative hunting artifacts in our solar system. Joining her is Dennis Åsberg, fearless founder and CEO of Ocean X Team, who made headlines with the Baltic Sea Anomaly, a mysterious UFO-like formation 300 feet underwater, uncovering deep-sea secrets. Together, they bridge the stars and seas with recent data exchanges, hinting at anomalies that could reshape reality. Let's dive in. Welcome, Beatriz and Dennis.
Thank you for being here with me today. I guess I traveled the most for this podcast all the way from Florida. But so I have so many questions, guys, for you. But first and foremost, I want to ask you, how did you guys two meet? I have an idea that Beatriz came across this story when it was happening back in 2012. You mentioned you were still in school.
I was still a student at the university, and I was super impressed by the whole thing with the Baltic Sea Anomaly. So I sent an email to Dennis. He's still searching for it.
Yeah, I have not found the mail. Sorry.
How early did you send that mail before the story really went viral around the world? Was it early or was it like when it was happening?
When it was viral.
Okay. So you were probably getting a lot of emails, no?
Yeah, it was 2011 we found it in June. And a couple of weeks after that, it was in the international news. And I received, I have but over 100,000 mails.
That's impressive.
That's crazy.
Did you have to hire like a secretary? Did you have your kids and wife go through all the emails?
Yeah, I wish she had, but no help from them. But no, so sorry, Beatriz. your mail, I have not seen it yet. So I have so much made so I can go through even today, but I have not done that because I have no time for it.
Do you guys believe things happen in this world for a reason? Maybe it wasn't meant to be then, Beatriz.
Yes, that's true.
Maybe the timing wasn't right.
Yeah, perhaps. Lots of things have happened in our lives. When it's come to my life, I have lots of strange experience that, of course, make you think perhaps it meant to be like this,
So it didn't happen then. When did you guys actually make first contact? Like start talking?
Wow.
It was last year, 1.5 years ago, with this European crash retrieval.
Yeah, in a meeting.
Yeah.
A European crash retrieval.
Yeah.
Retrieval? Retrieving what, guys?
Flying saucers, what else?
Like frisbees? Or real saucers?
No, frisbees. No. It was like this. I had, when we have been working out on the wreck projects, you can call it treasure hunter, explorer. That's what I'm doing, is searching for shipwrecks with interesting cargo and, of course, historical shipwrecks, and that we salvage. And we found this thing in the Baltic Sea, as you know, I can go into deeper to that later, but
don't go deeper than 90 meters, okay?
Yeah, I will not. But the reason I met Beatriz was because one of the camera guys we had on board our ship, he was with us almost every time to film us, our project. So he had been with me and Peter for many years, even in Panama when we have working there then. So he said to me that we're going to have a meeting because he know I'm very into this with UAPs and UFO. I'm so interested in that field.
By the way, how do you like the new term UAPs?
I don't know.
Beatrice's thumbs down.
Yeah, I've not thought about that really.
I think they're trying to just make it so general. Like
Yeah.
you could have, like you said, flying battery, and you can call it a UAP, right?
No, I think it's extremely broad in order to make it impossible to make a methodological, systematic search for them. While if you call it flying saucer, it's much easier to actually both to imagine what we are looking for, form a hypothesis, design a test, and find them. Call it UAP and you will never find them.
So, Beatrice, you made the headlines recently. You appeared on multiple podcasts and also on American news outlets. Ross Coldhart interviewed you recently, and there were some famous podcasters like Jesse Michaels or the other gentleman who lives in Tijuana and Pavel, yeah, sorry, Pavel, and a bunch of other people, right? And I remember watching it on YouTube because I subscribe to News Nation because they're the only channel that are open to talk about it, objectively rather with bias. And can you just tell us briefly what kind of additional discovery or verification you've made since that first publication several years ago that brought that ontological shock to both of you, I guess? Because I saw Dennis put something on X and later deleted it, and a lot of people were panicking about it. So I start with you, Beatrice.
Well, I mean, we already had seen some signs of that we see something that looks like are reminiscent of solar reflections from flat artificial objects in the early 1950s before the first satellite was launched. And we talk about reflections from objects that are artificial in space, so which could not have been ours.
You mean the Russians?
No, well, we think about something at even higher altitudes, and if the Russians made it there, it would be impressive. However, the interesting thing that comes now is that we see, I take this sample where we have like 100,000 flashes and we examine it. And this is like 100,000 flashes. I always thought that 99% of them were uninteresting. But we discover that when you look at this sample, there's a serious deficit of them in the Earth's shadow. So the deficit is corresponding to some 30-35%. And what it actually means is that 30-35% of these transients come from solar reflections, which means that we're dealing with a lot of objects in orbit around the Earth. I can't say if one object is emitting only one flash or if it's emitting 10 flashes in total. I can't say that. But we are talking about thousands, tens of thousands, maybe up to 100,000 of objects.
How were you able to discover these initially? Did you have to examine all the slides?
I've been looking by eye. So it started already in 2019 when I was looking for vanishing stars. I didn't care about UFOs. They were not even in my mind. And I wanted to find vanishing stars. And so we used a catalog from the US Naval Observatory catalog that had identified a lot of point sources. So with measurements and all the stuff, they identified point sources. And we took this catalog and with help of a student called Johan Sodla, we cross-matched it against Pan-STARRS, which is a modern catalog. So we have this pre-Sputnik catalog and modern catalog. We get 150,000 of candidates, and I said, okay, I'm going to go through a small subset of them by eye. So I took 24,000 images by eye, and I narrowed in on small cutouts because, of course, you cannot use the whole sky if you want to look for these vanishing stars in the center of the images. So you get small images.
Assuming they were already digitalized?
Yes, they were digitalized, yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's not like you had to...
No, we got these ones from the Palomar, and then I went in and I went through one by one of
By yourself?
Myself. 24,000 candidates, 3 times as many images, 3 months of drinking tea, chocolate, 1 loss of dioptry in the eyesight. I don't know how many additional kilograms due to the chocolate. Insanity level increased, and well, we ended up with 100 transients. And among some months later, I decided to go through these 100 transients again, and we discovered that one image had 9 of them in one image, which was weird. And that posed the question, is this real or is it contamination? We didn't know. So I thought, okay, so let's find better examples, because maybe if this is due to some satellite rotating or if it's due to some real satellites in space, we will find several of these glints along a line. Because you can't tell from that image too much, you need to get more information. So we started looking for those aligned along a line, and then we found one example that has a probability 1 in 10,000, and funnily enough, it happens on one of the weekends of the Washington 1952 flap. My colleague also found a triple transient, which also happened from one of the 2 weekends of the Washington 1952 flap, just the other weekend. And we said, oh my God, there's something weird there. So my friend Steve at Vanderbilt University, so we talked to him and we decided to test whether there's a correlation in time between the UFO events and transients that we see on these plates. And we can see, yes, there's statistically significant correlation in time.
So those transient events, they are captured through long exposure?
Yeah, and there are hundreds of thousands of those on these Palomar plates. It's a lot of them. We underestimated how many it was in the beginning because I thought that it was only those that appeared in groups or were in a line that were interesting. But my God, it's many of them. And I think people confused them with noise. They looked at them in the past and they threw away them or said, oh, it's just, you can only see it on one plate, it's not interesting. And among this noise, you actually have some unknown population of something that comes from solar reflections of objects in orbit around the Earth, probably at quite high altitude. So it's interesting.
Dennis is looking at me like, I think he's starting to get the ontological shock himself.
So,
No.
I'm sweating already. This is crazy. Like, I would be probably panicking. Do you remember the moment when it hit you? Like, was it during the first slide with the 9 objects that appear and disappear, or was it later on?
That, with the 9 object, it was big curiosity, but we still couldn't say whether it was contamination on the plate. And even today we can't say what it was with these 9 transits. But we know that they didn't fit anything known, and we couldn't identify any cause. But then it wasn't no ontological shock. Then it was curiosity and excitement and the wish to say, okay, so let's test this. Could it be satellites? And we wanted to create better tests in order to see whether we could find such signs. But when we got this result, I was with Dennis at the office. That wasn't curiosity. That wasn't excitement. That was like ontological shock. I mean, it was a stomach ache. It was bad sleeping for a few days, thinking, did I calculate something wrong?
Oh, were you afraid you made a mistake, or you were afraid that you might have come across something that might potentially be even considered classified?
Well, if I discover it, it cannot be considered classified because I will not keep the secret long enough. So
share the secrets.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing is that it's the kind of, if you look at it, it's such a big amount of them that it's no longer fun. It's.
What do you think, Dennis?
You know, when I remember that day we had this discussion, you and me, and you explained it for me a couple of times, and I read this report, and I try really to understand it because it was too weird too strange to really to accept it. But we did go deeper and deeper in the discussion regarding this, and so I just have to accept it. That this is the data, and what can I say? I was in a shock, and that night when I arrived home and tried to sleep, I could not sleep because I thought about this the whole time. So the day after, I was so tired. You remember, and you have not slept either.
No,
We
because
were
it's
so
a so
tired.
big number of them.
Yeah, it was so crazy. I mean, I'm convinced already when it's come to UAPs. But when you see the numbers and you understand this is not 10 or 10,000, it can be up to 100,000 of things up there, and perhaps have been here for a long time. I mean, that's huge. That's difficult to take in and accept it.
And Beatriz, those were the slides between the late 40s to late 50s, like within 10-year span?
From 1950 to 1956.
Okay, so pre-Sputnik era, right?
Yeah.
Or pre-Laika era.
Yeah, and they correlate with nuclear events and with UFO events. To make it more fun.
When did the United States started to actively detonate nuclear weapons after Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Was it like all the time? They were testing mostly in the Pacific, right?
I don't know exactly.
The Bimini Atoll. Then they had some nuclear explosions in the upper atmosphere levels too. Do you think that could have drawn attention?
It's a possibility.
Yeah, I think so. Why not? I mean, if we are dealing with dangerous weapon and they are curious about us, of course they're going to go in and investigate what we are doing here. I think so. I think they have the eyes on us. Had the eyes on us for a long, long time. And of course, when things like that with nuclear weapon, the testing, they're curious, as we are, as humans. I mean, we sending out sondes out to Mars and things, and perhaps we don't know what it is really, but it is something for sure that we know now.
Speaking of Mars, have you guys seen the latest news from NASA?
Yes, with the microbes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's like, it's this kind of information that they probably have known for quite a while. There's a lot of denial with results. So.
But this is data that was already collected several years ago, right?
Yeah.
By one of the probes, the rovers, and they continued to get it peer reviewed, and now they came back. Will they be able to determine in more depth what kind of a prehistoric or historic biological material could be, or they would have to get their hands on it first?
I bet they can get a lot of answers from the material they already have. The question is whether they will get it published soon. Probably easier for them to get it published than for us to get our stuff published still.
The UFO community is starting to voice their concerns regarding, either catastrophic disclosure or potential disclosure, because there's so much stuff happening, and they're thinking that, some kind of a announcement from the former body might maybe, ease the situation that we're in right now. We also had another congressional hearing about UAPs and whistleblower protection. Have you guys watched that?
Yeah, we saw it.
It seems like the community that is interested in these matters are supporting each other. I noticed a lot of familiar faces there. And there are new whistleblowers that are coming forward. So let's see what happens if, Congress can come together, both House and the Senate, and pass the new, defense a bill where they would incorporate more protection for the whistleblowers.
Yeah, I hope to get through this Disclosure Act.
Do you think there's any formal whistleblower protection in the European Union?
No.
No.
There's nothing like that. We are very exposed here, I think.
Yeah.
So I noticed you guys talk on another podcast briefly about this crash retrieval project. I know you don't want to disclose a lot of information because it's private, but can you at least tell the audience what your goal is to do with this project? Are you actually trying to recover some material?
Well, I mean, it's quite easy. We want to bring a flying saucer to a museum for everyone to study.
Well,
with all the tech.
Apparently the Americans already have a bunch.
Yeah, they say that. Yeah, perhaps they have. And now we want to work with nuts and bolts. We want to find out the truth about this. And I know, I have contact with lots of people that don't want to be out in the media, and I believe in them. And as I said before, I'm already convinced myself when it's come to that. So Beatriz and I, we have a huge interest in this field, this topic, and we want to work. I dedicate my life to this because it have changed my life totally.
Is it since 1996?
Yeah.
Can you tell us what happened in 1996?
Yeah, in a short way then.
Sure.
Not a long one. No, I lived not so far outside of Stockholm city, very close to a military installation. And I was dad to two sons and a wife I had. And I was an entrepreneur and an explorer, of course. Yeah, that was the moment that changed my life totally. Totally changed my life. I was an entrepreneur. I was a dad to two boys. I was married and I have a good life and lots of things going on. And of course, I was an explorer at the same time. So I was a quite busy guy. And of course, when I have the time to sleep, I use that time. But 96, in the beginning of the summer here in Sweden, I wake up very early, like 3:30, something like that. And the sun was on its way up, and I wake up, and my wife is still sleeping, of course, natural. And I just, what? Okay, why? I was little, that's strange I'm waking up now, but I'm laying there for 10 minutes or something, and then I decide to go up to the kitchen and drink water. That was the whole plan. Okay, then I go up. And then I'm sitting up in my bed. In front of me, I have a big window. A big window. And outside of my window, like 1,500 meters from me, I have this military installation. FOA in Swedish. And I look out the window, I see something that should not be there. They have never been there before. So it's something totally new for me that I'm seeing. And it's take me perhaps 1.5, 2 seconds before my brain really connect and understand this is a strange, odd thing I have in front of my eyes. And I begin to use the F words because I get frustrated, angry, and what the beep is going on here? And also at that time I want to have my wife's attention because she's sleeping and I want her to really wake up and come to the window and look yourself and here is something. But I'm sitting there and then I turn around and try to get her attention. Then she turning around and look at me with her big brown eyes at me and was terrified. I was scared, because this is not Dennis. I'm a Cool guy. And in the morning, I'm very, very cool. Not standing there and are angry as I did then. And I turn around again and look out of the window, and it's still there. This thing hovering over this military installation, and it's not small. As I mentioned many times, it's not the bird shit on the window. It's not a small thing. It's a big thing hovering over.
How did it look like?
No lights, nothing at all like that. No sound. It was like a cigar. If you look at this angle, then you see it looks like this. It looks like a cigar or a hot dog. It was brown, dark brown orange. And there was a reflection because the sun was on its way. And when it's on its way, you begin to, it's orange, yellow, that color when it's going up. And that sunlight is reflecting on it. And I see it was not a flat surface on it either. It was a quite rough surface. And things are sticking out. But it was a rough surface, brown, strange. And I look at it, and I was paralyzed, really. And at the same time, scared, angry, because I have never, ever seen anything like that before. And then happens the thing, when it's standing like this and it's doing like this. And I see it's dark under it. And then I see it's round. It's round. Before I did not see it round. This looked like a hot dog or a cigar. And when it's turned in that angle, I see it's dark under it. No sunlight is shining on it. So it was dark. And just for 2 or 3 seconds, I see it in that position. And then it's just fly away over my house where I'm standing, like somebody have thrown a frisbee at you. It was so fast. And I just standing there, what? And running over the bed over my wife, that's sitting there in the bed and look at me, what's wrong, Dennis? She did not say anything because she was in shock. And I'm running over her to the other side of the apartment, to the balcony.
Balcony. Is that how you say it in Swedish?
Yeah, balkong.
You say it too in Czech, balkon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
And there I'm standing and look out and, where is it? Where is it? And I did not see anything. Nothing. And then after 30 seconds, my wife is coming. Dennis, what's wrong? What's happened? What have you seen? And then after 20 seconds more, my sons are coming. Papa, what's wrong? Papa, and I have seen something that should not be there. And I was in shock. And then after that, of course, we wake up. We did not go to bed, even if it was like early like that. And we decided to sit in the kitchen eating breakfast quite early then. And I tried to explain in my best way for them what I have seen, and I'm glad that they are listening. They are listening to me, and because I'm not that type of guy that coming up with stories in the middle of the night. I don't take any drugs. I don't use alcohol. I don't do anything like that. And it was a crazy moment for me. It was something that made me think really, because I did not before that. I was not interested in UFOs and UAPs. Yeah, I saw Star Wars, aliens and things like that on TV, as many did. But I did not think about UFOs or UAPs.
It wasn't something you were thinking before you went to bed?
Nope, not at all.
Did you disclose this incident to any of the outlets when the whole Millennium Falcon story broke out?
No, yeah, or yes. It was like this. After that experience, 96, I decided to be. I said to my family that don't ever speak with anybody about this. I don't want to have people, think I'm crazy or something. This was 96. It was a stigma, lots of it at that time. And
Also, the same year the Independence Day came out, right?
was it?
Yeah, 1996.
Wow.
I believe, or 95 or 7, around that time.
Oh, okay.
That was a fun movie.
Yeah, I remember.
I really liked it.
Yeah, so I said to them, don't talk about it in the school, don't mention it. So the only people that know about that at that time was my closest friend and my family.
Were you aware of that incident that happened to Dennis when the story came out about the Millennium Falcon and the Baltic Sea? No,
I only learned about it when we met.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like this. Where 2013 or 14, I think, we had a so-called, not a reunion, but like information meeting on a cruising ship here in the Baltic Sea. That we invite people that are interested in the Baltic Sea Anomaly. And we talked about our experience out there and what we have found and all the data. And then at that night, I have a guy there who was very interested in this thing when it comes to UAPs and UFOs. And we're sitting there, perhaps we had drank a couple of beers or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember. But anyway, sitting there, and he asked me, Dennis, have you any experience when it comes to UFOs? And I thought, okay, should I or should I not? I mean, what the heck? I mean, it's experience. I have seen what I have seen. Nobody can change that. So I decided to tell him the story, and he was just, what? And then we met again, and he said to me, Dennis, is it possible for you to say it in front of a camera? Yeah, why not? I mean, I do that. So we did a little short documentary about that with a simple camera. We went there to the spot, and I explained for him what I have seen. And he did also an interview with my ex-wife about her experience with me that morning. And
Do you think there was any commotion at that base at the time when it happened, or did you try to follow up if you find out any more information, what was possibly happening over that base? Was there anything on the news at the time? Were there any other witnesses?
No, that's the thing. When I saw that, at that time we don't have a broadband and things like that. We have Alta Vista as a search engine, and you're calling up with your regular phone. And anyway, I go into local newspapers, military sites, and see if anybody else have seen what I have seen. No, I don't find any information. And then I decided to contact UFO Sweden. It's an organization here in Sweden, and see if they can help me. So I sent over this information to them, but I did not get any answer back. So as it was a crazy moment, I must say. But then I understand that, I'm an explorer, I'm an entrepreneur, and when I see something like that, I cannot just turn my back on it. And then, 2011, I found the Baltic Sea. And, it's very important now for perhaps they have no connection at all. I don't know. But it's strange. I see something, 96, that changed my life, and then I'm an explorer, searching for shipwrecks. I find the Baltic Sea Anomaly. So, what? that's if you begin to think about it. And one thing more that is, I did not think about that when I experienced this, but I thought about it after my experience, 96, was that how come that I wake up so early this morning? Usually I'm sleeping a long time. I use the time to sleep really because I'm working a lot. And then I wake up for some reason. And then I begin to think, because I go in to analyze myself, my status and how I feel and, everything when something crazy like that happen. And then I begin to understand or begin to feel like they know. They is some connection. I cannot put my words really. They probably know that I'm looking at them.
Beatriz, before you discovered those slides, did you have any previous experience that maybe prompted you to do what you do today?
Nothing. Nothing like that. Nothing else than the basic regular human experiences. I haven't seen any UFO. But I was a fan of Star Wars.
Precis. Yeah, you're right.
Mm.
So you get to see 9 objects that vanished, right?
Well, we had 100 before then also.
Right, but the initial were 9, right? So automatically you're thinking in your head, 9 stars, suns in the universe can just turn off, right? Like disappear, right?
Well, we did point the world's largest telescope at them, and we didn't find any counterparts because we were first hoping what if there would be some kind of counterparts there, and you would see that it's 9 lasers that simultaneously are shining on the Earth. We were hoping to see that. Nothing.
But if something like that happens to a star-like object or star in the universe, and you get to witness it and capture it, let's say in one of those telescopes, that's something that already happened in the past, correct?
Yes,
exactly. And now we get to see it X years later, right? We don't even know how many, right?
Yeah.
If those objects disappeared within 30 minutes until the next picture was taken, right?
Then it's inside the solar system.
I'm sorry?
Then it's inside the solar system.
It's inside of our solar system.
Because you have them at the same time, you also can calculate the distance between or how big this area is. And you can see, okay, this has to be inside the solar system. And that mostly points towards flashes then. And then solar reflections, of course, was the first thought we had. But with these objects alone, you cannot really tell that. You need to do more tests and more diagnostics. Now we use much more refined diagnostics when we even select the objects.
Okay.
So
fast forward to this day. We have thousands of satellites orbiting around our planet, right? And there's a lot of space debris too, right? All those objects at certain point in time every day will reflect sunlight, correct?
Yes.
What do you call that that effect when objects are in the Earth's shadow? So they shouldn't be reflecting any lights, right?
You mean that...
Umbra effect? Or what do they
you
call
can
it?
call it a Umbra effect if you want. I haven't put any name on it.
Okay.
But we can call it that.
I saw that word floating around, so I wanted to ask. Can ice crystals reflect any sunlight if they're in the Earth's shadow?
You're not going to form them with those shapes, and I don't think they are even going to survive at geosynchronous altitudes in those shapes that you would need to in order to get transients that we see. So no, I don't think that ice crystals can explain this. I don't think you can come up with any natural explanation for this. At least none that I know of.
Okay. So the only explanation would be there's something artificial or perhaps even organic that can produce some kind of a light, right? Or
I would say that I have difficult time to imagine any other explanation than that you have something that looks like a mirror or glass and is flat like that at high altitudes. But of course, maybe someone else will come up with a better explanations. Several years have passed and I haven't heard anything that works so far.
how many experts have looked over your research?
Well, I'm sure there's a number of experts that have looked at it and said, "Oh, it's plate defects." So, because they look at it and it's the easiest explanation. It's easier to come with an explanation than to test it or make an experiment. So,
If you officially would request those plates, would you be able to get them to examine them if there are actual defects on them?
I once actually did, and the answer was that they don't really want like people to come there because it's these places are treated like gold, like museum material. It's like asking to go and see Tutankhamun's mummy.
You said potentially hundreds of thousands of objects?
Yeah, because that's the thing, that even if you would disqualify the candidates we have, like the 9 transients on the 5 along a line, you still have a deficit in the shadow. So that's the thing. You have lots of these transients are interesting anyway. So,
I believe there's a Irish gentleman who was on a podcast named Area 52 interviewed recently.
Yeah.
Is his name Patrick? He has a hypothesis that
Patrick Jackson.
yes,
Yes.
Patrick
Yes.
Jackson. He has some kind of hypothesis. I don't know if it's a theory yet, but he produced pretty robust material, thinking that this might be some kind of a defense mechanism that's been here for a long time, but it's potentially being controlled from here, from Earth. That would kind of explain those spheres where people see all over the world. I don't think it's an isolated incident. We know that Arrow captured those in Iraq and other locations in the Middle East, and they do tend to fly in certain formations.
We have seen a number of times in these images that sometimes they're triplets or duplets, which I think kind of is interesting from his hypothesis point of view.
And Beatriz, you have some idea how to siphon through all the noise and all the stuff that is now in near orbit?
Well, you can use the Earth's shadow again, but then you're going to miss all these reflective objects and you will only look for emissive stuff.
Now,
So
are there... I know there's a young kid who was able to catalog all the space debris. Is there a way to filter through it to analyze objects that we know they're ours or they're space junk or space debris?
And I'm sure the militaries would love when I do that. Because if you remove all the stuff that has a name and has a flag, then what remains is the unknown.
Have you thought about approaching the Space Force or even NORAD? I'm sure it's getting pretty crowded out there now.
Yeah, but do you know what I think? Now let me share with you what I suspect there is. Apparently a big fraction of these objects at geosynchronous orbits, they don't really know what it is. They don't have a flag. They don't have a name. They're not even in the catalogs. They're called uncorrelated targets because they appear once or twice and then they forget about them. And this is maybe something like 70 or 80% of everything you have at these altitudes. And I'm asking, what if it's similar objects to what I see? What if it's kind of the same population or have some overlap between the two populations? And in such case, most of the stuff then that blinks on the sky, maybe it isn't even ours. We are just thinking it's our space trash, but
So
maybe it isn't.
Are you saying that if you would be able to get hands-on on all the data that NORAD or the Space Force have and do cross-referencing with your information, you would be able to determine what it might be, or at least eliminate what it is not?
To answer in a different way, they have had these uncorrelated targets since the early 1960s, and most of these catalogs are classified. I think that kind of replies on the question.
Maybe there's a reason other scientists don't want to work with you because of that.
But I'm curious. I can't let go of stuff. But I also
I
don't
would be
want
too.
to. I just don't want to dive into the defense stuff. So I prefer to work with the data from the early 1960s. I don't want to go through the data that has all these secret catalogs and all the things. I just don't want to do that. But the early uncorrelated targets from the early 1960s should be interesting, and most of them shouldn't be human. So there's no reason for defense not to share those data with us.
Have you ever seen the footage from the International Space Station? This is during the space shuttle launches, the missions. I forgot which mission it was, STS something, where they released a tether that was miles long.
You showed me that.
Yeah, I showed it.
And it snapped off and floated away, and you could hear the astronauts saying, Houston, we're watching this tether, and they were describing how far it was in nautical miles. And when they zoom on it, they were like, almost like, look like when you have a camera out of focus and there's dust particles floating around, but those things were like pulsating, and because of the tether, they were able to determine the size of it, and they were miles wide.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah,
this was happening in the 90s and early 2000s, where they had, they had live feed going on, and they spotted objects. You could even hear the astronauts saying, "Hey, we still have the unidentified flying object under our observance."
Yeah.
Like, how do you explain that if an astronaut says that, on their comms, and next thing you know, they cut the feed?
Yeah, and
how convenient.
That wouldn't disagree either with what I claim from the data without having ever seen that video. So you showed it to me after.
Yeah.
So when Jake Barber, right?
Jake Barber.
Can I get some more water?
Of course.
Thank you. Sorry.
When Jake Barber was here visiting you, was he able to tell you some more information what those objects might be, now that he is doing extensive research with even Gary Nolan, where they have high-powered cameras and they're trying to, quote-unquote, summon these objects in the atmosphere? Because I know that when you study those objects, you mention in your paper that they're different shapes, right? Based on the reflectiveness?
It's more that we try to deduce what kind of shapes one could get that match this kind of glinting pattern that we saw. So, of course, we talked with Jake. No secrets were revealed in any direction. Not that I have any secrets, but it was all a very relaxed discussion. And I would say that Skywatcher do some really cool stuff, and I look forward to them releasing their data.
And they will share those data with you?
I think they will share it with the entire world when time will be, and it's their work to talk about it. I'm not in a position to even comment anything about those data sets. I don't know anything that you don't know.
As a scientist, what is your view about the psionic abilities that they're performing, and then those objects are pretty much manifesting with 100% accuracy or guarantee?
So
Is this something that you might be looking into if you want to retrieve a real flying saucer? I mentioned it to Dennis. Is this something where you can attract it and perhaps study it more?
So let me give you two parallel answers, because I always believe that a thought can exist, that you can have two parallel thoughts about something. First, I'm still very much with the nuts and bolts, and the psionic thing is quite, it's still a little bit too advanced for me. I mean, for me to enter from my maybe a little bit too materialist point of view. At the same time, I did myself write a hypothesis in a paper, a civilian astronomer's guides to UAP research, where we actually even proposed, this was months before I ever heard the word psionics, but where we discuss about how alien probes that are advanced could have a human-brain interaction. And then you can explain a lot of these things that they discuss with psionics through that model in my own paper. So everything is possible. Everything is possible. The question is how you study it. And a Skywatcher is having that hypothesis, and they are doing experiments to test it. And I think everything is valid and interesting. So let them do that. I myself will so far stay with simpler ways of exploring the skies. I need more time.
But now that you've come across these things, are you seeking to have like a experience on your own?
I would love to have an experience on my own. I've never seen anything. And I don't know, maybe the UFOs, when they see me, they just they run away, or they look at me and say, or maybe they have been in front of me, but since I just walked around and looked at other things and thought about food or chocolate or anything, I missed it. It's also possible. But I would love to have an experience. So if there is a chance that these psionic teams at some point invite me to watch, I'll be glad to be there. So at that level, I'm very interested in trying out if there's a chance to see something myself.
Dennis, so outside of that 1996 incident, have you seen anything else afterwards except for the Baltic anomaly?
Yeah, perhaps. It depends how you see it. But I've seen strange things. I have, because I'm a curious guy. That's why I'm an explorer. And after '96, I also get into this with the UAPs and UFOs and all these strange things that happening around us, even when it's come to ghosts and spirits. Because that changed my life so much that I must in some way find out what's going on. And I remember I was invited by a group here in Sweden called Spökjakt Ghost Hunters Sweden. I think the name is so. And I'm not that guy that closed the doors when it's come to that. I'm curious, but I have a filter also. I don't believe in everything I see. But I was with them, and I was with the other guy also. So I have done it 3 times. I have been on this so-called ghost hunting, and I have seen and heard lots of things that was strange. So if it is have any connection with UAPs and UFO and ghost and spirit, perhaps it is a connection there. And we are just scratching the surface now and try to, get to understand it and get in contact with it. But I have experienced strange things. Yeah, I have.
Can you tell me briefly about those blips on the sonar or radar that you guys had during your expeditions?
Yeah, I talked about that with Peter yesterday. And I said to Peter, you remember that time? And yeah, Dennis, oh shit. We had that discussion yesterday, really. And we were out. There was good weather. The sun is shining. The water is perfect condition. Not windy, no waves, nothing. And We have just put our anchors in the water, and we were alone out there. I mean, usually we have lots of ship around us, military ships and Coast Guard and things like that. But this time we were alone. And we're preparing the ROV, our robot that we're going to go down with. And I'm on the deck. And Peter have his eyes on the radar. And he said, Dennis, look at the radar. So I check the radar and I see a dot on the radar. Just what the... That's like 150, 200 meters from us. I mean, what? And I go out on the deck. We are alone here. What's going on? Go in, still there, and then gone. And then it's popping up in another area, in another area, in another area. And then after 10, 15, and all of us, believe me, all of us were up on the deck. You know, it's there, should be there. No, it was not. So it was strange.
So when you say you saw it on a radar, that means it's an airborne object, correct?
Yep.
So it's supposed to be... Could you tell the altitude from that radar?
No. The range, only the range.
Was it stationary or did it move?
No, stationary. And then gone. And then...
Sounds like a transient object.
Something, I don't know. You know, we saw what we saw. And I don't have any... I just open with everything we have experienced out there. So that's one thing of many.
So a lot of electromagnetic anomalies, right?
Yes.
And weather phenomena.
Yep.
I saw one of the documentaries, you guys actually captured some cloud. Was
cloud.
it a methane cloud?
We don't know.
That looked really strange.
It does. Very, very strange.
Is the Baltic Sea normally calm ocean? Calm sea, or does it get rough there too?
Can be rough.
Yeah.
And
You had a rough time there on the last expedition.
Yeah. It was no problem for me.
So. I mean,
the other people were just puking there. It was. But I'm used to that. So when things happen like that, if it begin to be windy and lots of waves, I focus on one thing. In this case, I focus on our ROV. I put my eyes on that and just doing something. And then I can manage to don't get seasick. So it was quite interesting journey. And we were out now in June. That was the last time we were out.
And you're going out on a smaller boat.
Yeah, now we're going to go out again in a smaller boat. But that journey we had now in June, we have perfect data. We have used multi-beam, sub-button profiling. We have, of course, used the ROV. But the data is so good. And now we're going to go out again in a couple of weeks and then continue with our investigation.
Is Beatriz going with you?
Yeah, of course. No.
Do you get seasick?
I can't even watch the boat. I get seasick just looking at it on picture.
I never get seasick.
No.
I feel great in the water.
Do you want to challenge that notion?
Yeah, I'll go. I'll go if I get the invite.
But the interesting with that journey in June then was that we had a discussion, me and Captain, because he's curious, of course, my experience out there. So he has asked lots of questions. He said, okay. And I mentioned for him, we have problems with our equipment. We have problems with the GPS. We have problems with the ROV, where diving equipment, lights and telephone and satellite telephone, everything just was not working properly. And then we are close to the area, and the captain said, Dennis, we are on the spot almost now, so be prepared now then. So I'm focused on the screen with the multi-beam, and we're closer, we're coming to this spot where the anomaly is. And then the captain looked at me and said, Dennis, we have a problem. And I just, what? We have lost the GPS position. And I just, what? You're joking? No, Dennis, we have lost it. And I saw that on the screen also. So does that usually happen on this ship? Because it was not my ship this time. It was Stockholm University's ship.
Okay.
So no, that's not usually happen. So we go over it, and then begin to work. And then we turn around and take the next leg. We say like that when we scan the bottom, and then we come into lose the connection again.
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
Have you disclosed the exact location with anybody?
No.
What about the Swedish
No.
Navy?
Yeah, they have been there.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Have they followed you? Did they try to get more information from you? Because you did mention that they did want to see some of your material, right?
Yeah.
But are they in like a friendly, relationship with you, or
They closed the door
really?
in the beginning. Yeah, they want to have the data, and I, of course, blue eyes guy, think good of people, and even our Swedish military. I've been there myself. It's a long story, but I had a meeting on the headquarters with people there, and me and Peter, we show all the data because they were curious, of course. And then I asked one of the high-ranking officers there that, you should know what it is because you have been there with your vessel. And he looked at me and said, "Oh, no, I don't know anything about that." "Yeah, but you have been there. I have seen it myself. You've been there with your ship. Too close to us also because we you did use the radio and said to the ship to change the position because you are too close to us. We have divers in the water." And he said, "Oh." So, of course, they have been there.
And you have NATO around you.
Yeah, NATO.
Yeah, I was.
French ships and German ships, British ships, and laying around us and lurking around there in the water. And airplanes.
So you think they ramp up the activity since Sweden joined the NATO because of the Russia-Ukraine conflict? Is there more?
No,
Is there
but
more
now-
activity now?
Yeah, now it is, of course. But now, when I'm talking about the experience, that was in 2013 and 2012 and many times. But now it's a natural thing to see them out there.
Isn't it in the Finnish waters though,
Yeah.
or is it in the
Finnish economic zone?
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the Finnish approach towards this when the story broke? Did they send their own navy?
No,
No.
they did not. It was NATO and Swedish ships.
What about the Russians?
Yeah.
Are they there too? Sending
That's
jamming signals to mess with
that's
your
the
GPS positioning?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because when we were out there, we noticed all the problems, and I mentioned that for a couple of people in Sweden then, and they come up with the idea, why don't you take an instrument with you that it's a frequentometer, it's searching for different frequencies, and in all band breadths. Anyway, some instrument. I'm not so, but anyway, I got a little book with it and do that and that. Then is put enter on and make sure you have turn off all the electric things, telephones, satellites, everything. I mean, I did exactly what they said. Put the enter and it was 10 minutes something. It's scanning everything and then put everything together again in a box and leave it to them when we were at home. And 1 week after that, I got a mail, and I still have the mail, that they explain that they have seen a frequency, a strong frequency, very close to us then, that is dedicated to the Russian Navy. So that frequency. So if it is some submarine or a buoy or some navigation buoy or something, I don't know. But they have probably been there at that time.
So the object is 90 meters deep, right?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, 90
but the
meters.
Baltic Sea is relatively shallow, right?
Yeah.
you had several people, they are like geologists, that determined that whatever you brought back to the surface is of a volcanic origin.
Mm?
Are there any volcanoes or any volcanic activity in
No.
that region?
Nope. Should not be any
But
signs
that's
of
not
it.
from the object itself. That's from the sediments, right?
Yeah, it's nothing from the object. We have never managed to take any samples from the object. It's too hard.
Because there were lots of misconceptions in the media. The scientist who commented on something, they went out and it made it sound like if it was from the object itself.
it's
And then
not.
there was never any analysis, no paper,
No,
no draft,
yeah.
manuscript, just claims to the media,
Yeah,
which was
yeah.
very unusual.
Now,
Yeah.
how many divers actually had seen the object with
3.
their own eyes?
3.
Only 3 people.
3.
Are they still on your team today?
Yeah, so we working with other projects. You're working in Panama now with other projects. So every time we go out, we choose what divers we want to have with us. And it's 15 years ago we found you're getting older also. So lots of people have doing other things now.
Mm-hmm.
So I have new people in our projects also.
Can you briefly tell us about the Panama projects, the Native Americans there, and what correlation it might have to the object in the Baltic Sea?
Yeah, that's a quite cool story, really. I mean, 2011 we found the object. 2012 we were there and did our investigation, and in the end of 2012, 2013, perhaps in the beginning, I received a mail. I have lots of mails from people around the world because they were so curious, interesting what the next step is going to be, and so on. So I get the mail that sticks out a little. And it was from
Beatriz.
From Beatriz. Yeah, exactly.
And after that, he never forget. No.
Yeah, I'm gonna have that.
We're gonna give you a hard time forever for that.
Forever. Anyway, that mail sticks out, and and I begin to read it and understand this is quite interesting because he say that he works or an agent helping the Guna Yala Indians in Panama. And he had businesses in Panama that he have the Indians employed in his company. There are salvage old wood in the Panama Channel, and they use for building furniture and things like that. So anyway, he have a close connection with them, and they saw in the news the information about the Baltic Sea Anomaly. And they had talked to him then and said, can you contact these guys in the Ocean X team? Because we think it's a connection with our belief. Because the Guna believe that people on Earth is planted by aliens. So they think that the Baltic Sea Anomaly that we have found is a connection with their belief, what they are believing. We're coming from some other place. So I was so surprised about that, and I called him, I remember, and he said, Dennis, okay, is it possible to have a meeting with you and Peter? Can you come to Prague? Because he's from Prague, but lives in Panama and lives in Alaska.
Interesting combination.
Yeah, he was an entrepreneur. I mean,
even bigger than you.
There, nobody.
Nobody's.
No, he was a kind gentleman, I must say. Anyway, we're going down there, and I did not know what to think when we come down there. Perhaps everything is a joke, but he was the real guy, and he talked a lot. Wow.
Anybody who's from Prague is a real guy.
Yeah.
Or woman.
Yeah. So we were in the first meeting was on a nice restaurant. And I thought that, God damn, we're sitting in a whip room there, and everybody's just, whoa. He must be some top guy of some kind. I was like, Anyway, we're sitting there, and he explained for me, Dennis, Peter, I have been helping the Indians in Panama for a long time, blah blah blah, and they want to meet you and talk about the Baltic Sea Anomaly. And then we talked about that. Of course, I explained for him, and then he said, "When can you come to Panama and meet the Kashikis?" And I don't know, but let's be in touch. And I going home with Peter, and we scratching our head and just, this is crazy. I mean, Panama. And then after a couple of calls, and because I was curious also, why should we come there? I mean, what's the reason for that? Then he explained, they see a connection there, and, they have shipwrecks there. They know where it is, these shipwrecks, and they want you to salvage it. And nobody else have the approval to salvage shipwrecks there because it's holy water. They protect it. They are autonomous, they own
Autonomous,
water. Autonomous,
yes.
yeah. So, and I just, that sounds too good to be true. But, I take the chance and I go to Panama and met this Kashikis there on a restaurant. And I remember I sitting there and talked to the oldest of them. And
The elders.
Yeah, he did not look in my eyes either. But he looked at her eating his food, and I talking there for 15, 20 minutes, just blah 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 blah, in English then, bad English then, but it works. So to their language, and after 20 minutes, something like that, he look at me with his face like a russin. What's it called? Russin? Raisin. Yeah, old, screen.
Oh, raisin.
Yeah, raisin.
Like a dry grape.
Yeah. He look at me, white teeth and shiny eyes and white eyes and laugh and just happy. And I was, what's going on? He have always looked down, and then I hear. Jan Masek is the name on this person that have helped us and make this happen. Anyway, he said to Peter, "You're accepted. You're accepted now." And I hear that. So that was a sign, really. And then he begins to speak. Blah, 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 blah. And he was, of course, curious about the Baltic Sea Anomaly. We talked about culture and history in Sweden and lots of things. So that was interesting journey, I must say. I was a shock because it's a wet dream for a diver to be there and to be there and dive on these shipwrecks. And so
What happened? Did you guys go and recover the shipwreck?
Yeah, I have been there many times now, but I'm gonna go there next month again. I will call you.
I always want to go to Panama and Mexico. I think it's a very interesting place.
It's nice. It's a nice place.
So you have the permission to look for the shipwreck.
Not only that, to salvage it also.
And Peter's going with you?
Hopefully.
That sounds like a Indiana Jones type of thing.
Yeah, that's one.
And they know where it is.
Yeah, we know where it is. Yeah.
Or they're telling you it's a shipwreck. It might be another Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, perhaps.
There's something they're not telling you yet. They want you to go. They want you to go there first. Find out what it is. Maybe they know. But they don't know that you don't know.
This is. I don't know. It's real. I'm gonna.
But they promised me if it's this ship from Star Trek, you're not going to salvage it.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna fly away with.
Okay.
No, yeah. This is a quite cool thing, but I don't know if there's any truth in it to it. But the first thing I heard, and perhaps you can answer him yourself later. They have a guy there with his friends that is well known. His name is Brad Pitt. You know,
The Brad Pitt.
The Brad Pitt. He was there with his friends. They say, I don't know if it's true, but that's what I'm saying to me. And on this forbidden water, and begin to salvage a cannon from one of this wreck.
Oh.
And they, the Indians saw that, and
kicked them out.
Yep.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So you're a bigger celebrity than Brad Pitt there now.
Yeah.
Wow. Will you sign the autograph after the podcast?
Depends. No, it's interesting. I mean, I'm gonna go there again, and we have the wreck, and hopefully it's the right wreck, because it's not as it is in the Baltic Sea. You have brackish water and not so much air in it and salt, and that means that conservation here in the Baltic Sea is, I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, because it's less saline, right?
Yeah. So
and colder, I guess.
Colder also. So, but this wreck is like it's very difficult, but we think we know, because we have the cannons, and on this wreck we have probably more than $27 million in gold.
Okay, so if you do salvage it, we have enough money to fund Beatriz project, right?
No, sorry.
No.
No, I'm sorry. The deal, and I love it, the deal is that the people, the Gunayala, are going to get everything.
Wow, that's very generous. That's very nice.
You know who took the gold? I mean,
yeah.
Time to give it back.
Was it the Spanish? Or the
Spanish
English?
And French and the English and a lot, Portuguese.
Wow.
So
this is like 15th, 16th century, no?
16th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a very interesting project, of course. It's because it's not only that we're gonna salvage the treasure and give it back, it's also that we will help them to build up their infrastructure with the hospitals and clean water, and take care of the garbage and education, and build houses and everything.
Wow, that's very nice.
Because the shock I got when I was there, it's so beautiful, it's so nice, and the people, I love them, natural people.
They're genuine, right?
Yeah, but it's so much garbage there. Shit, plastic things in the water everywhere. So they don't have a system that take care of it. Yeah. In Sweden, we have, in Scandinavia, we're taking care of our garbage. There you have the plastic, there you have that.
Yeah, the microplastic is a big problem.
So I come up with some ideas when I was there, and explain for them how it works in Scandinavia, in Sweden, then, about if you put a bottle in a machine, you get money for it. And they just, what? What do you mean? You get the receipt, and you go and you take out money. And they just, what? Okay. And many of them, they just throw it in the water or burn it. So, and many people have no job there, as you know, and it's plastic everywhere. And I said to them, perhaps it's a good idea then that the younger generation that don't have any job can begin to go length the beaches and pick bottles, plastic things, and get money for it. And then we build up some kind of industry that take care of all the plastic, that you can recycle it, use it for others. And they just, what? Okay, we have it in Sweden. We have it for a long time. You don't have anything. Because the kids are standing there and burning up all these things, or throwing it in the water. So I remember when I talked with the elders there, they mentioned that lots of the food and things, they just threw in the water. And the sharks are coming. Lots of sharks. So they have a problem with that also. Okay. So, yeah. So it's not only the treasure, the thing that we're going to salvage, it's the journey that I can help them with.
It's priceless.
Yeah, Yeah. So I love it.
Guys, my other camera died. I don't know if some kind of a anomaly here too.
Yeah, just
But I'm just gonna have a few more questions and we'll wrap it up.
yeah.
I really appreciate you being here today. I
Thank you.
hope everything works fine. I do still have some questions for Beatriz.
Yep.
Beatriz, I had to like run some of my questions with AI so I can be like as scientific as I can be, because I don't have a
Will I
science background.
understand them?
Yeah, you will. No, because everything is pretty much run through AI, ChatGPT, Grok, and it's kind of scary that it can write a paper in like few seconds. I remember when I was in college, I spent days doing research papers, and now you just type it in and it will spit it out in
Nice.
seconds.
Great idea.
But the thing is, I notice a lot of times it is incorrect.
That's true.
So we got to be careful.
Yeah.
We cannot give AI too much power, or we're going to end up like the guys in Skynet, Terminator, or even worse, Matrix. Do you think there's a lot of stigma in the scientific community today
Oh my
regarding
God. Oh my
the
God,
thing
yes.
that you're dealing with?
Yes, as the answer, because there is so much of fear. First, the journals still don't feel comfortable with even mentioning UFO. They will tell you to remove the references if you get into review, or they will. Many times you will even get a desk rejection just because of the topic. It will not even go to review because the topic scares them, so they say, okay, we don't work with this. So that's the first thing. Then even people who work with the topic are so afraid of results that aren't negative. So they will try to say, okay, so how do we do to get this published? All the focus goes on getting something published, if you have a chance, rather than presenting the results as they are. So I think that's a trouble also, because people feel so much stigma. Or if you go up and you do something public, then there's all these topics you don't touch. They say, okay, let's avoid this topic, let's avoid that topic, let's not talk about the aliens. Once you work with a UFO topic, then they try to say, okay, always add, but we don't say it's aliens. Let's add that disclaimer, we don't say it's aliens. But what if you think it's aliens? So the stigma enters at every level, all over. It's all around us, this stigma. We are trying to fight it. We are doing our best. It's going to take time. It's going to take decades, but it's still there. And scientists are very much like worrying about like how they are perceived by their colleagues, how they're perceived by others. Like there are forbidden things to say. There are a lot of unwritten rules that are governing even this community of scientists. And we have to just try to let go of that, I think.
But this type of bias is limiting the scientific research based on fear and perhaps competition, right?
Yeah, fear and competition, because we need the civilian research to stay fully civilian. So that's something that worries me. And like we are going to be working on our projects, and we have made an agreement that we're always going to stay only with civilian funding. So I think there's all these things are making the stigma more complicated.
Beatriz, have you also received positive feedback from astronomers or scientists who support your research?
Yes, I have. I have received some. I have received the whole spectrum of reactions from people screaming at me to some people who are very interested, of course.
So
It's private emails one can receive this.
Understood.
So we are starting something new that we can't talk about too much yet.
Exactly. Top secret.
Yeah, it's top classified.
Top secret.
Earthly, sorry. You know what you mean.
With this new research you guys going to be doing, is it still going to be pertaining to what you discovered?
It's going to be related to UAP, but from a much broader perspective.
So what more investigation can be done?
We need to find these objects today. We need to we need to learn as much as we can about the same type of population we see in the 1950s as I mean, if I can retake my answer, sorry. What we need to do is to confirm the same population we see in the 1950s today with our modern telescopes and try to learn everything about their properties, their sizes, their altitudes, their numbers, their behavior. But also, I would hope that someone would go up there, or that we can do it, that we can go up there, take a fishing net, and bring them down to Earth and study them. That's what I would like to do.
When you say up there, how far from? Is it still near orbit?
I mean, I'm thinking, or I'm estimating that they are maybe around 40,000 kilometers at altitude 40,000 kilometers.
40,000 kilometers.
Yes.
That's far. That's like close to moon, no? Isn't that already in moon's orbit?
No, it's geosynchronous orbit.
Yeah.
So that's where most of
we're talking kilometers or meters?
Kilometers, but that's
40,000 kilometers. That's almost the circumference of our planet, right?
At 42,000 kilometers, you have most of communication satellites and similar.
Okay.
So it's the perfect place to also place spy satellites on the Earth if you're an alien civilization.
So those classified missions that Space Force is using, that where they're launching that mini shuttle, have you seen that? It stays up for like 2 years, then comes back.
I haven't.
And that one has an arm and it can collect things. Even the Chinese have satellites. They have an arm that can grab things.
Yeah.
Don't you think maybe the United States or China, Russia are already doing this?
Certainly, but will they share it with me? I don't think they will share the data with me. But I would love to do that like a private.
What about SpaceX? Have you tried to reach out to them?
I asked them for funding some years ago, and I never got a reply for the exoprobe. But that's not necessary right now. But it would be cool if one could get help to get some of these objects down to the Earth. I would love that.
So you're saying if these objects are there still today, there's a way to detect them?
Yes. And what I want to find out now, which I don't know if it's true or not, is whether it could be so that majority of the objects that are blinking on the sky today maybe aren't human, but maybe are related to that population, and I would like to know that. That's a hypothesis. Just a hypothesis.
Just quick question about the 3-eye atlas. In your opinion, what we're looking at? Is it a comet? Is it some kind of a, like interstellar object that's coming from the inner galaxy?
I'm going to give you a completely frank answer. I've been so occupied by my own results that I haven't had much time to look at 3-eye atlas. I've been more worried about all these other objects in orbit. But it surely is an interesting object, and I wouldn't be mocking Avi Loeb like many of my colleagues do. I would listen to his ideas with big respect.
It seems like even Ross Coulthard is kind of like, starting to look at it more skeptically, especially at Avi Loeb, the way he is entertaining, the possibility where it could be. He asked to have one of those probes that are orbiting, I believe, Jupiter to, change the trajectory and maybe like take a closer look at the object.
That's a good idea.
Ross Coulthard says it's a waste of time. I think any opportunity we can get to look at it is beneficial.
Actually, yes, absolutely. I agree. I think this is a good idea from Avi, and I hope someone will take it more seriously.
Is Avi also part of the Soul Foundation?
Yes. He's part of it. It's been a lovely time I've had with the Soul conferences when I've been visiting. And it was 2 conferences. I enjoyed it a lot. So now we're going to the 3rd one in Europe.
That's awesome. Well, guys, I really appreciate you. I think we're going to have to wrap this up. Okay. But I would like to maybe follow up with you again, perhaps over Zoom or via internet.
Yeah.
To do a follow-up once you guys launch this project.
Yeah, it's a very interesting project.
But we can't talk too much about it yet.
No,
but
we can't.
Okay.
We don't go into details, but it's something, of course, lots of people are going to hear about in the future.
Yeah.
And when it's come to UAPs and UFOs and we are not alone.
I think we are never alone.
No, we haven't never been alone. I think they have been there the whole time. But I don't have any proof yet when it's come to that. Yeah, in your case, you have the proof. It's something. You have the data. But what it is, we don't know. And that is something very important to dig into. We don't know as a civilian. We don't know. But we know that it's something.
Are you prepared to get to the bottom of it, literally, Dennis?
Yes. We are 100%.
And if it was up to you, if you were given one chance to really find out what this anomaly is at the bottom of the Baltic Sea, but they would ask you that you only can dive, would you be able to take that risk yourself?
Yeah, of course.
Don't you dare.
And then I'm sitting there alone.
Make sure you don't catch the bends, because I heard it takes over 2 hours to surface, right?
Yeah. Then you take
And it's cold. It's cold down there, right?
It's very cold. It's 4 to 5 degrees. And the cool thing, as I mentioned, I don't think I mentioned this. When we were down there the first time, we have almost 0 degrees.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's not normal for
no.
salt water, right?
No, it's not normal. So that's something lots of things have happened out there that is strange for sure. So that's one of them. But when it's come to future and UAPs, we must in some way continue our, journey to find out the truth, because we know we are not alone. What it is, we don't know, but something is here. Have probably been here for a long time, and I'm quite sure, and of course, they know already about that, the military and.
No doubt.
Yeah, they that's the same thing as I was out in the sea and diving on the anomaly, and they say, no, Dennis, we have not been there, but I have filmed it.
Let me ask you, there is a technology, some kind of a boat, I've seen it on a smaller scale, where they can siphon the water and then collect like the rocks or debris or logs. Is there any type of ship that could put like a
Pipe
giant... and siphon the water?
Now we're talking about, okay, yeah, that's important. That's
You mean you want to vacuum clean up the Baltic Sea Anomaly?
No,
yes.
with a
not
pipe.
Vacuum it, vacuum the water around it.
Oh, okay.
So you can go there, put a ladder and walk down.
Okay, I misunderstood. I thought you wanted to...
No, but it's possible, of course,
Okay.
of course.
They do it with big ships.
Yeah, I know, it works, but it's lots of money in there.
Okay, well, you better find another shipwreck.
Exactly. No, it's possible, of course, to do that also.
Have you ever tried crowdfunding or approach like some investors?
I did that for many, many years ago, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
No.
I saw people were making fun of you when we were trying to sell your
T-shirts.
merchandise. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was crazy because I was frustrated, and I'm that type of guy. I don't give up. I don't turn my back on things. I just wanna, and I try in every way to find out the solution. And even I can stand there with a T-shirt and buy it for. If they buy it, perhaps they can help us to get money to the project. That's one thing you can do. You can do it in that way. But the best way is to find a serious person that is really serious and interested into dig into this. And now we have that. And I'm glad that I have Beatriz that have helped me to open the doors with the right key. And now understand that many scientists begin to be interested not only in the Baltic Sea when it's come to UAPs. And my experience before, when I have meetings with scientists, and they was like just, you know, Dennis, this is interesting, and it's nice to hear this story, but to put my brand on this and to go into this project is, it's a risk. I don't want to take that risk, but I look forward to see your project, and it was difficult. So I was frustrated. Of course, lots of media channels like Fox News and others said that it's just a rock without talking to me, without having been on the spot and everything. And it was very difficult for me to convince scientists then, for they said, no, man, Dennis, I have read the news here, and it's a stone, they say. Yeah. No, they don't know. They have never spoke to me. They have never been on the spot. We were a secret spot, So...
That's like calling those transient objects ice crystals, right?
Exactly. So... It was tough.
So you guys are fighting the good fight. Don't give up.
We'll do our best, but it's a difficult battle. It's a lot of opponents. You don't have one opponent. No. It's like different groups. You have the people who are stigmatized, people who think that you as a scientist should never, ever even say that there might be aliens out there, because there is, again, the stigma of that sort. And it's so many layers that you have to penetrate. What can we do? We can just go on doing our research, our investigations, have fun, and try to enjoy life a little while we do it.
Yeah, and we know we have people that doing all they can to stop us, that we know.
Yeah.
That our experience. So they don't want us to find the truth. And they know the truth are out there, and but they don't want us to say it as a civilian. And it's interesting. But it's going to be a shock, of course, I think, when people really understand this is real.
Well, if the disclosure doesn't come from United States or China or Russia, I guess it's going to be European.
Scandinavia.
Scandinavia.
We will see. The future will tell.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, the older cultures like the South American, the Central American, or even the cultures from Polynesia, Australia, New Zealand, they all have stories that date thousands of years. Those stone paintings, carvings.
Yeah.
Like in Australia, have you seen those?
Same in Sweden also.
Yeah.
It's like they know.
Yeah.
And the mummies are cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I guess we talk about the mummies on the next podcast.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure Jesse will share some more information.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank
This was
you for
a
having me.
great conversation.
Great.